Okay, so I can pause it now, which is kind of anyway. So we're looking at counterexamples. So this really only applies to greatest integer functions. You might see it somewhere else, but to be honest, um, the counterexample is totally aligned with just the way that a greatest integer function one works. Now, counterexamples exist when, as you can see down here, there's going to be something in italics. And it's going to be like a um, statement that you're trying to prove as true or false. Now, I can tell you right now, if you go through and try some numbers and it validates as true, um, yeah, it's not necessarily. Uh, we're hoping, really, in most of these cases, that this guy is actually going to be false, just the way it's presented to us. Whenever they're basically trying to say, this is something that she thinks is true, you're going to try and prove it negative. So the only thing I'll add is, gentlemen, this will be the only time in your life where you can prove a woman's wrong, like mathematically. This is okay. I recorded that too. I'm gonna stand by that because I'm curious to see how. That's good. That was good. Um, yeah, posting this is gonna be interesting. Anyway, local teacher. Moving on. I don't actually believe that the views and thoughts expressed in this video are not representative of the Western Quebec School Board, and neither that of Mr. Sweezy as well. He strictly just needs attention and wants the laughs. Moving on. So we're trying to prove that it's false. We have a counter example here. I'll give you a chance to kind of like maybe get started on this guy here, but they've told you in this scenario that a bookstore offers its customers a loyalty card. With each purchase, the bookstore stamps the card with one or more stars. The value of the purchase before taxes determines the number of stars stamped on the cards. Really, all that's happening here is I make a purchase at a bookstore, I get like rewards. The rewards are based on these stars stamped on a card. I can use those later on. Now, the value of the purchase before taxes in dollars is X. The number of stars stamped is Y. The only thing I'm going to get you to think about right now is, what is B as a fraction? And then from that, what is the step length? Why that's important is Lisa thinks that if she buys two novels at different prices, her card will be stamped with the same number of stars, regardless of whether I buy them separately or together. She thinks that is a true statement. So you have to try and disprove it. And my advice to you is, if you know the step length, you can break the question. If I don't know the step length, you can try numbers like we do, right? We pick numbers out of thin air when we're doing conjectures, and anything out of thin air might work. But in this scenario, don't waste your time. Figure out what the B is, because that's going to help you break this scenario. So I'll let you think about that for a few minutes. I know I didn't give you guys a whole lot of time on this guy here, but through the magic of television, we're gonna kind of finish this up right now. What we have in this scenario is a B value of what?
B value of 1/25th of the length of 25.
Right. And if you're struggling with this, and we don't really care about the negative per se, what I want to show you is if you had 0.04, right? You can always just write that, like turn that like decimal into, a backwards percentage kind of thing. Normally to get that, I would have 4 divided by 100, right? I can then reduce that fraction to 1/25th, meaning that my step length is going to be 25. That's super important, because what that means is, if someone buys a book for like $24 and someone buys a book for $26, one person's going to get 1 point the $26 is going to get 2 points because it kicks in, right? It's like different levels. That's when it kicks in. The next level kicks in at 24 and 26. So what I would suggest to do is to pick two values that exist in different step lengths and see how that's going to impact it. So what we can do in this case is go, all right, I'm going to try $20. I'm going to make them further apart. I'm going to try $20 and $30 as books, right? I am going to do them together first, or sorry, I'm going to do them separately first. And then I'm going to try buying them together, right? So $20, $30. In the first instance, she's buying that for $20. $20 was an X value, Y was the stars. So Y is equal to negative 0.04, and I'm going to put 20. So in this scenario here, right, the 1/25th of 20 is going to leave me with negative 0.8. Should put Y is equal to negative. So Y is equal to negative 0.8. We round that down, negative 1. So they would get 1 star for that purchase, okay? So 1 star for that purchase because negative times negative 1, perfect. Do the same thing for 30. You'll notice the math on counter examples isn't hard. It's just figuring out what the heck we got to plug in. So then 0.04 times 30. Now I have Y is equal to negative 1.2. Okay. So here we round down again and I get negative 2, meaning the point total for buying them separately, right? Point total is 3 in that scenario. So again, I'm straddling that line. You know, I could have done 24 and 26, but I'm just going to do it this way just because the calculation is a little bit easier. Now we'll go back. So 3 stars total buying them separately. But now if I buy it together, Y is equal to negative 0.04, 50. Okay. Negative. So on this guy here, we're going to end up with just 2 right on the nose, negative 2. So in that instance, rounding down, I don't round it down at all. I just leave it as that. So then my Y value in this case is basically just, right? It becomes negative 2. Y is equal to 2. So buying them together, they only got 2 points. Buying them separately, they got 3 stars. Again, if you find that step range, and to make sure you break it, you could have picked, again, 24 and 26 would have made sure you broke it, right? Think about if I plugged in right now 24, I still would have ended up with 1 point. If I plugged in 26, I still would have ended up with 2 points. And then if I added those two together, still 50, still returns the same value. Okay? So either one of these scenarios will make it happen, but you can try that as you will.
Happy on Friday when you start the class.